They should have never let this guy walk free. 19-year-old Sandra Sepa was just stopped at this Waffle House in Webster, Texas, when a man pulls up behind her. She had just been at the gas station across the street using a payphone, and this same man had been kind of creepily staring at her, but she didn't think much of it. But now that he was just pulled in behind her, basically blocking her in, he gets out of his truck. He said, "Oh, would you look at that? You got a flat tire. Isn't that weird? Why didn't I give you a hand?" And she looked down and saw that her tires were slashed, but before she could even react, he pulled out a knife and forced her into his truck. Now, they're going a good 70-80 miles an hour down the Interstate 45, and Sandra, that makes this even worse, she's actually pregnant at the time, but she realizes that she has to do something, and she tries the door. It's unlocked. Jumps out of the moving vehicle. She's able to make it to safety, and this guy, whoever he was, speeds off. She couldn't remember anything right after the attack, but investigators decide to put her under hypnosis 5 months later, and all of a sudden she starts to remember a lot, including a license plate which leads them to this guy. William Reece had done pretty much the exact same thing 10 years earlier, 1986. He abducted a girl and assaulted her. She was able to make it out alive. He gets sentenced to 25 years for that, but after a review is done of his case, they find procedural errors in his 1986 conviction. Basically, a prosecutor said something that was slightly wrong. He was granted a reduced sentence, basically on a technicality. So now we go back to 1997 with Sandra. He gets arrested for that. And this time they sentence him to 60 years and they lock him up, and that's that. But that is not that, because William Reece was also a suspect in a string of unsolved murders. Now cut to 2013. William spent about 15 years behind bars at this point. They had a DNA sample from this murder that happened the same year that William was arrested, but it was kind of a bad sample. They couldn't really get anything out of it at the time, but they tested it against his DNA in 2013, and they got enough of a match that they were able to charge him with that murder. Now, the one slightly enjoyable part of it is Texas authorities talked to him about some unsolved murders in Texas. The other one was actually in Oklahoma, and they basically were like, "Look, if you tell us anything about these, we'll take the death penalty off the table." And he agreed and even took them to some of the sites. Funny part is, that little plea deal where he only had to serve life if he just came clean, that only applied to the 3 over in Texas. When he got sentenced to the Oklahoma one, they slapped him with the death penalty. If you'd like a better, much more complete rundown of this case, I've made a full 20-minute version available here.